Hello and welcome to Flying Bobbins. I'm Liz and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really beautiful zip pouch with bow detail. This is a long awaited tutorial, I know. I've had this one designed for a little while now and so today I'm going to show you how to make it. So thank you for your patience in waiting for this one to come out. I hope that you really enjoy making your pouch following this tutorial. There is a pattern available to make this bag from www.flyingbobbins.com, and you can also buy a kit there as well, and that's what I'm going to be using today. So in your kit you will have everything you need to make this clutch bag all pre-cut for you, so you can just get on with the lovely task of sewing, and that's available in a choice of 3 colours. So just to talk about the clutch bag itself, it measures approximately 28 by 21 centimetres as a finished bag. It has a foam padding to make it nice and stable. You've got a gorgeous metallic gold lining there with a little slip pocket big enough for a smartphone. You have a wrist strap there. And I'm also going to show you how to add a tab at either side so that you can, if you want to, attach a chain and make this into a crossbody bag, because that's quite nice for the party season. You might want to pop it over your shoulder. And I'm going to show you how to create this lovely bow front detail here as well. So let's take a look at what we get in our kit. So I've already made the pink one, as you can see. I'm going to make the turquoise one now, or the aqua green one. So when you get your kit, inside you will find everything you need to make your bow clutch bag. To create the outside of your bag, you'll have 2 pieces of pre-cut Avalon faux suede. This does have a pile on it. It's actually a velvet. I think it looks a little bit suedey when it's finished, but it's actually a velvet. So we're going to fuse those 2 panels to our foam. So you also get 2 panels of foam. And that foam is quite premium, but it is worth the extra cost to have that gorgeous foam there, because it really gives the bag a nice bit of body. You're then going to get 2 panels of your printed lining there as well. A lovely YKK metal zip. And a panel so that you can make your wrist strap there. And then you get the 2 panels to make your bow, which will sit at the front. You get your lining panels, of course, which I mentioned before, but then you also get an extra panel of lining to make your interior pocket, and a pretty piece of binding to finish the top of your pocket really nicely. And also, last but not least, a matching thread. I don't always include thread in these kits, but I do want the thread to match your project beautifully, so I have included a matching thread in there. And like I say, all of this is pre-cut for you. There's quite a lot of components involved in making this bag. So do take a look at those kits. But if you do want to use your own supplies, because I think there's lots of lovely combinations of fabrics that would work for this pattern. You could even do the bow in a contrast colour, which I think would look really nice. So if you do want to use your own fabrics, then you can also find the pattern available as a download from flyingbobbins.com. So let's get straight on with it, and the first job that we need to do is to fuse our foam panels with our outer fabric pieces. Now the fabric has a very obvious wrong and right side, so we want to just lay down our fabric looking at the wrong side. And then our foam has a gluey side, which you can see is slightly shiny, and then it has a soft foam side. So you want to put the glue side onto the wrong side of your fabric that you're using for the outside of your bag. I'm going to use a pressing cloth, so I will just use this tea towel, just because I don't want my iron to get any glue on it, and also to protect the foam. And then what we want to do is just hold that iron in place, just to fuse the foam onto our fabric. And if you find that the glue just isn't melting, you can switch that over so that you're pressing onto the fabric side, and then you should find that after a bit of time that foam will fuse on there. So you want to repeat that process for both panels so that both of your outer bag panels are fused together with your foam. Once both of those are fused together, we're then going to move on to creating our bow. So if you take the sort of letterbox shaped piece of fabric, you just want to turn that so you're looking at the wrong side, and then you want to press in those edges by 1 centimetre. And you want to repeat that on both the top and bottom side. Keep your iron at a kind of a 2-dot setting. You don't want to put too much of a hot iron for this fabric. And so once both of those edges are pressed over, we're now going to go over to our sewing machine and sew them down. So I'm going to work looking at the wrong side, and this will mean that I can make sure that I'm catching that edge. And I've pressed this over by 1 centimetre. I'm going to line up the edge of my presser foot with the edge of the folded fabric, because I can see that when my needle goes down I'm going to catch the edge, and that's going to give me a nice guideline, meaning that my stitching will look the same on both sides of my panel. I'm just working with a universal needle, medium size. I'm working with a stitch length of 2.8, so between 2 and 3, but on the upper end it's better to have a slightly longer stitch for this fabric, and also when you're making bags with top stitching that shows a longer stitch looks slightly better. So I'm going to do a couple forward and a couple back. That just to lock the stitches down, stop them from coming undone. I'm sewing about 1 centimetre in from the edge there. When I get to the end, I just want to do a couple of back stitches to lock those stitches off, trim the threads, and we're done. And I want to do that on both sides, and you'll get a nice stitch on the front there. So exactly the same again on the other side. So your panel should look like this, and the next thing that I want to do is create the centre of the bow. So this piece here is this bit here, and I want to create the centre of the bow. So if you take the smaller panel of fabric and you just want to press in by 1 centimetre on either side. And you're then going to do the same again as you did with the main panel, and you're just going to stitch down either side. So just as we did before, we're going to sew from the wrong side. Just to stitch down that folded edge. Do that on both sides. We want to make a loop out of this, so put your piece right sides together. Trim off any thread tails as you go. And you can use a couple of clips to hold that together if you want. So just folding that right sides together, matching up those raw edges. Make sure that they do line up. And then we're just going to stitch down here with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So there is your bow. We just need to turn this through to the right sides. And we're ready to attach our bow onto the front of our bag. So I've taken one of my bag panels and I want this to be lying the right way. Because this faux suede fabric does have a pile, you do need to be careful. This is the wrong way. You can see how the pile lifts when you smooth it upwards and how it flattens down. So this will be the top of your bag here where your zip will go, and then this will be the bottom of your bag here. Likewise with your bow panel, you also want that to be the right way. So I can see that that is the wrong way and that is the right way, so I need to switch that round. So now when I'm lying that down, everything is going in the right direction. Now I'm going to position my bow so that the top here is 5 centimetres down from the top edge. This is in order to give room for that zip. And that means that you have about a 2 centimetre gap at the bottom. So I can just clip that in place. Oops. And then we just want to secure our bow panel to the edge of our bag by stitching it down at about 1/2 centimetre in from the edge. So I just want to hold the bow in place. And I'll just stitch about 1/2 centimetre in from the edge just to hold that in place. So that's just held down at the side seam there. We can now take our little bow piece that we made before, fold this fabric in and just tuck it through the end and just pull it along. So once you've pulled your bow fabric through the centre there, you just want to attach it onto the other side here. And again, measure down 5 centimetres from the top, and that's where you want your top of your bow to be so that it matches up with the other side. So the next thing to do is just to sew the bow down on the other side in the same way that you attached the first side. Don't forget the back stitch at the beginning and end. And we're just going to make sure that the raw edges all line up. And just attach the other side of that bow. So that's now finished the front and back panels of your bag. So we'll set those to one side and we'll work on the lining.